Hello everyone, this is your 5 and welcome to the Global Essential Toy Review. And today's toy review, we're looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the Marvel Universe action figure review. And today's action figure review, we're looking at series number 2, action figure number 12 of the Modern Thor. Now, I got this straight from Sportswolf 3, aka Stiffman, who sent this all the way from the US to Malaysia as a gift. I really have to thank you again, Sportswolf 3, aka Stiffman. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go ahead and check out his channels. Now, let's take a look at the front part of packaging here. Rather nicely done with the artwork on the top there with Thor character there. Very nice artwork, very detailed stuff too. All the scale mail lines are also drawn, very nicely done. You'll also notice the plastic bubble itself is rather, well, big for a character his size. Now, on the side here, written Thor, and you notice the background itself has a mixture of grey, white, and then going downwards itself, it turns to black and then a little bit of blue. Bottom part here is stated, include classified file with secret code. Of course, by the time you got this, the secret code is, well, not usable anymore. Now, on the side here, there's a hammer logo. Nicely done. Inside the plastic bubble, you got the figure himself, Thor. Next to him is the giant hammer. And on the back here, you notice the top secret file card. Of course, it's not originally intended to be arranged that way because, well, originally it was open. It was a gift from Sportswolf 3. Now, at the back here, you notice, if you can see it, there's the base stand there. So, let's take a look at the back of the packaging. You got a nice little image of Thor there. Very nicely done. Nice little bio there. And the rest of the lineup. You got the Extremis armor, Iron Man there, which I already reviewed. You got the classic Captain America. Very nice with the shield itself, and I already revealed Luke Cage or Power Man. At the bottom here, you got Norman Osborn saying, "Become an agent of Hammer at FuryFiles.com." Very nice. So, without further ado, let's open up this packaging so we can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back after removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now, inside the packaging comes with a top secret file folder. That's the word top secret imprinted there. And inside comes with a letter from Dr. Ron Dean to Mr. Stark saying, well, suggesting the idea on tracking Thor down using weather satellites. I'm not too sure if that's even possible, but then again, comic world. Now, the funny part here, you notice the bottom part section here is a sticky note from Norman Osborn to Kala, as in Moonstone Kala, saying that, well, assembling the Ares and the rest of the team to track Thor down, and that's about it. The whole thing is about tracking Thor down. Next we have the character card of Thor here in the same artwork from the front, except this is smaller. And on the other side, the Superhuman Registration Act. You got a nice little avatar image of Thor there. And at the bottom, the thumbprint. Nice little hammer logo on the top here. His real name is Thor Odinson, code name Thor, hair blonde, eyes blue, height 6'6", weight 640 pounds, sex male. Powers: class 100 strength level above average Asgardian endurance and resistance to injury. The Odin Force allows Thor to have near infinite cosmic and mystical abilities. Expert warrior, hand-to-hand combatant, hammer throwing, and swordsman. And the bottom part here, immortal. And that's about it. Now, next we have a base stand. Nice little base stand there. On the top part here, you got the embedded word of Marvel and 2 pegs for the figure to stand on. There's 2 holes here. At the bottom here, imprinted with the word Thor, and next to it, 012. Very nice. Now in the back, 2009 Hasbro. Next we have his accessory, the hammer. Now, not as detailed as the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for the 2010 version of the Thor figure, because this hammer itself doesn't have the engravings on the side though. But I really like the amount of details they put on the hammer itself. It's rather battered up. You notice this, a lot of battered up, all the chunks and pieces all chipped away from the hammer itself. Very nice. Too bad there's no engraving. It will make it very, very awesome indeed. You've got the handle itself wrapped with the leather, and you've got a nice little, well, handle there. Problem is, his 4 fingers is way too thick to actually fit onto this so you can actually fit it onto his right thumb, and that's about it. So you can't have him pose into a flying mode while swinging the hammer. But it's a nice little accessory, and he can actually wield the hammer itself quite well with no problem. Or you can have him, well, hook it on to the right thumb like so. Of course, it will be much more better if he holds the hammer like so. Very nice. Now, let's take a look at the paint job on the figure itself. Now, this paint job, the entire figure's paint job, is very gorgeous. Gorgeous indeed. Now, if you all remember my previous video on the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of the Thor figure, the wings from the side of the head itself is more yellowish. Now this is a proper paint job on the wings itself. Very nice. Has sort of reddish blondish hair color. Very nice. Its eyes is also well painted as well. You can see clearly on his two blue eyes there. Flesh tone skin is also well painted. I especially like his uniform here. Very well done on the paint job. Silver, on the scale mail itself, on the humongous buttons, if you want to call those as buttons. Back of the cape itself is very nicely shaded. You notice all the shadow lines there. Very nicely done. So does on the bottom part of the cape itself. And the back of the figure itself is also painted. Very nicely done. There is no smear. There is no paint smudges. Very awesome indeed. You got the belt itself, which is also painted, and the belt buckle is actually painted in slightly gold. Very nice. Bottom part of the boots itself, very well done on the paint job. No paint smudges anywhere. Very nicely done. Although there's two sections here, the top part of the boots itself, it's not really well done. You notice the paint is kind of off. I assume they're trying to make some texture, shading whatsoever, but it's not well done. You'll notice a large patch is missing there. I'm not too sure if it's intentional. I assume it would be, but if it's intentional, there's way too much. You'll notice there's a lot of paint patches at the back, at the top part there. Back of the boots itself is also well painted, but a bit of paint smudge on the, well, the tight leather straps there, but it's still okay because it's the back of the figure itself, so you're hardly able to notice it. Now the sculpt of the figure is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous indeed. I love the sculpt. Let's take a look at the head sculpt here. The head sculpt, really stern looking Thor there. Very nicely done. But the eyes a bit small. Too small for my liking, but still alright. I really love the sculpt on the wings itself. Very detailed stuff. Very detailed stuff. Hair sculpt is also quite nice. Really love the entire sculpt here. And the scale mail he's wearing, very detailed too. All the lines are all sculpted. But the best portion of the body itself is around the torso and the lower legs here. It's very detailed stuff. All the wrinkles are shown there. Very nice. Including at the back, you notice. Now let's take a look at the figure's articulation. Head actually can pivot a little bit up and down because it's being hindered by the back portion of well, his long blonde hair, and can move left and right, and that's about it. He can't turn 260 degrees because also hindered by the back portion of the hair itself. Now the torso here can actually pivot a little bit forward and a little bit backwards. You have to push all the way in because the cape is actually hindering it, but still alright, you notice, and can turn 260 degrees, but really loose for some reason. Look at this, very loose. Not too sure why though. Now for the waist joint itself, there's also another waist joint which also turns 260 degrees. Not too sure why they bothered to give him another waist joint, but it still works. Now the shoulder here is being hindered by the, well, the long cape itself, so he can't turn 260 degrees, but he can still move up like so, straight, and spread the arms this far, and that's about it. Upper bicep here turn 260 degrees, very nice. Elbow bend this far, wrist joint turn 260 degrees. Now the hip joints here is a bit hindered by the, well, his tunic. Is that the proper way to call it? His skirt. The tie can actually move forward, but it's sort of bent on one side and spread this far. Also has a swivel tie for some reason, but still very nice addition, and double jointed knee, which is very tight, and ankle joint here can pivot a little bit downwards, upwards, and then 360 degrees. Overall, I really like this figure. I really love the amount of details they put onto this figure itself. Very nice indeed. So I have to thank Sportswolf 3 for sending me this figure all the way from the US to Malaysia, because ultimately this is my favorite Modern Thor figure. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.